In this episode, I will be installing one complete strake. Both sides of the boat, and I'll show you everything that I'm doing, even if it's a little embarrassing. If you don't know how to build a boat, can you still build a boat? And I want to make absolutely clear here that I do not know what I'm doing. Seriously, I had to Google complex nautical terms like mast and rudder. How is this happening? The traditional Scandinavian lap strake construction that I'm doing means that you build the hull first, the outside of the boat, and drop in the interior later, instead of the other way around. So the boat is built up out of planks that overlap a little bit. So every plank is connected to the keel on one side and to the plank below it along the entire length. So my first job is to cut 6 planks. 2 regular sides for here, 4 slightly shorter ones for the pointy ends. The boat is far too long for one plank to span the entire length. So I need to connect the planks that I saw out together. And the method that I'm using is this, a butt block. There are more sophisticated methods out there. Haha. I'm not lining these butt blocks up. Okay. I'm not lining these butt blocks up. But what I do, and I'm sure that you can do this 10 other ways too, I leave one end like this, so it will fit the previous strake, and the others I'm rounding them off to help them collect less water. I think I look very manly when I'm wielding an axe, but secondarily I happen to have a very good quality axe by Fiskars. And I do not have a very good quality, whatever it is that you call this, a chisel maybe? This is going to be just collecting water. All my planks are the same width, 20 centimeters. If it was a little more or a little less, I don't think that matters at all, as long as it's all the same width. I just use one of the sheets to serve as a ruler to draw lines on the other sheet. After cutting the planks, this is what I have left. I will cut the butt blocks from this, and I will do it so that the grain of the wood is in the same direction as the planks that I'm gonna glue them on. I have a swing in my workplace. So what we have here, 4 planks for the points, 2 planks for the side, little excess material, 4 butt blocks, top left corner. So I'm fitting the second plank now. Before I started, this part of the project was even more scary to me than fitting the first plank. So if you buy a commercial pattern to build a boat, you will see very curved strake patterns. I think they call this a strake. I dreaded that. So I was thinking, These Vikings, they just had straight planks probably, right? What if I just start with straight planks and see where we go from there? This turned out to work perfectly. So maybe this was a ghost problem after all. So for the rest of the project, I'll just cut straight planks and they will never exactly fit. Like here, the overlap is too big. So I'll just draw a line on the inside, add a little overlap, cut it, and that will be the shape of my plank. I'll install the 4 planks on the pointy ends first and then do the 2 planks in the middle. That way it's easier to trim the one in the middle to fit exactly with the 4 on the pointy ends. Now I can't glue it down just yet, it needs to be trimmed to shape. It's already pre-twisted, which is a good thing. And I'll start with trimming the front. Because as you can see, that's not the right shape right now. I've only measured one side and I will make the other one identical, but of course mirrored. I don't know how, but I stupidly switched up my 2 planks before I structured the ends. So now I am retwisting them in the opposite direction of what I'd done before. This is just done. I need to profile this end here so it fits the plank below it. The first time I did it, I used an axe, like the real builders do. Took me a couple of minutes. An axe actually really works well for a lot of things. But dudes, check this out. And done! So the front is now the right size. The back is also fine, but here I will probably need to take a little bit of material off to make this plank follow this line correctly. So what I'll do is I'll dry fit it once again. This goes there. I draw a pencil line along the top of this one and then we'll see the results. So this plank sits on top of the other one like that. And this overlap is just fine, but this one is a little wide. So I'm taking this overlap and follow that one along the entire length. I saved what I trimmed off so you can see what the loss is of cutting complete 20 centimeter planks compared to cutting templates. So the left one came off the first, that's the second, that's the third, and that's what came off the fourth just a minute ago. Once you fit the new strake, this will be much harder to reach. So if you still need to change things that you don't like about the earlier strake, do it now before you install the next one. One more thing I'll do. This is my old plank and this is the new one, and it's going to land there like this. So what I'll do, I'll sand this down a bit to get a smoother landing. So there's a bigger face that this lands on, and instead of this being a very wide gap, that gap will become a little smaller. The next step is putting the glue on both the boat and the plank that I'm gonna fit, and then glue the thing together. And I will hold them together using screws. So I will use screws to fixate it in place, and I'll remove the screws later when the glue is dry. Now when I mix the glue, I have 45 minutes to work with it, otherwise it's too sticky and it's too late. So to reduce my stress level, I will fit the screws now so that I don't have to fumble about later on. The epoxy is hardened on these 4 planks on the ends. Now in the middle I'm still missing a plank, but I already pre-cut that one. That's these. I also need to crop these to size and then glue them in using butt blocks. And I also need to cut the butt blocks to size. That is in the way. I'll remove it first. Traditional Scandinavian boat building is done like this, with the boat the right side up. But they don't use the molds. Instead of that they have sticks from the ceiling down and they fixate all the planks where they want them to be. But the modern glued lap strake builder, the amateur builder, has molds like these, upside down, builds the boat over top of it. So I thought I was going to do the same, only to realize that my stems, you know, these things in front and the back, are way too long to do that. I would have to work like this all the time. So I settled on this compromise, but let's be honest, You can see there's all these gaps here. I'm not effectively using these molds very well. I have fit the plank straight, but I want it to be more curved. So I think what I'll try and do is do the first fitting here, where I pull it further out, then fit the screw, and then try to twist and bend my way until it fits the corners. But yeah. It isn't what I was hoping. I'm not super thrilled about this, to tell you the truth. Thus far I have not trimmed any of the middle planks and just put them on 20 centimeters wide and only trimmed the front and back planks. But I need to trim this one because otherwise I would have this overlap, which is far too much to fit it nicely to the plank below it. But what I will do is I will not trim it all the way here, but just a centimeter more, and then when I fit it, I'll fit the middle first, and then try to bend the rest so that I get the curve that I want. I've made this bendable ruler to draw curves. I'm not being super precise here. I don't have the tools, I don't have the skills. This is where the plank will go. There's quite a lot of contact area here in the corners, but here, because the plank will be angled, the contact area is very small. So I kind of don't see the point of using glue here. So I will only glue the edges, and then here, of course, we'll glue it later on using a fillet. Right now the two corners are a very tight fit. And my plan is that if I push this middle part of the plank down, I will get more curve and room will come here so that I can fit them together. And I will strike two flies in one blow because I want more curve and I want it to fit together. So hopefully these two things go together well. All right. That's it. 4 strakes of the boat are done. This is a strake. I thought I was a bit unhappy because I wanted this one to curve more and come out a bit more here because I was scared that I wouldn't make the height over here. Well, that happens. Looking at it now, it looks really good. I'm really happy with how it took. I'm really happy with how the curve looks. So I'll just have to find another way to make this height. And I will simply do that by making the strake that comes after this one. In Norwegian it's called the ripboard, wider than the other strakes, which is traditional. So I'm good in that respect. Thanks for watching and look out for the next installment. There's still so much good stuff coming. And shallower and steeper. And shallower and steeper. Ta-da!